Hey y'all, it's Chef Chris. We are going to be working on salmon today from Lummi Island. We're going to do a raw preparation and a crispy skin on one as well. All right, y'all. So this is the beautiful king salmon from Lummi Island. This is the belly, and this is the fillet. So we're going to cut this off. Salmon is near and dear to my heart because I started cooking in Seattle, actually in the Pike Place Market at this restaurant called Edda's. And that is the place that kind of really like cut my teeth and taught me how to be a real cook and care and, be passionate about something as thankless as this. All right, so I took the belly off and there is some skin. This is it's not the hardest thing to do, but from here on a piece like this, I will cut down the middle and then kind of angle my knife and run my knife across it like that and separate that. And then from this side, I'll use this as a handle and just slide my knife right underneath. And there we go. And for this, if we wanted to, we could make cracklins or fish skin crackers, but we are not today. And for that, I just like to clean up all this skin really nice so there's no extra meat on it. And that we can kind of chop up and set aside. But yeah, that is salmon skin. So this aside.
Oh, so we're going to use the belly for the raw preparation?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I think there's enough of it too.
Yeah, I always thought the belly was just like the 1 inch.
Oh no, I mean we could. I took a little bit off of the fillet as well. All right, so this is like really minute, but like in restaurants, we like to take this off. This little white thing where the skin and the flesh meet. It's definitely edible, but it's just not as nice. I had a chef that taught me, it was like, if you look at it, you don't really want to eat it, don't serve it to people. But I've been lucky enough to work with some really, really talented, really passionate people. That taught me a lot. This one doesn't have as much because this is the first side that I did, so I didn't get as clean of a cut on it.
And what is that? Is that part of the skin or is that just some
This
extra
is just
fat?
the fat that connects protects the flesh from the skin. I mean, I guess the skin is protecting the flesh, but it's just a little piece that in restaurants we like to get rid of. All right, and for this, we will just cut into like little dices. We're gonna do like a little tartare, if you will. I'll set that aside. This side, because it's thicker, we're gonna flip on its side and cut in half first. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, it just needs to be consistent. And I'll do all of the cross-cutting before I actually go through and dice. But I've been cooking for about, how am I now? I'm 41 now. I started cooking when I was 17. Majority of that I did in Seattle. I worked for this guy named Tom Douglas. He is like one of the biggest restaurateurs in Seattle, and he has been for a long time. I was lucky enough to be able to help open and be sous chefs at a lot of his different restaurants, which kind of gave me a very great like global view of the culinary world, because one of the places was like a Japanese place called Tanaka-san. One was this place called Cuoco, which was an Italian restaurant. Edda's, which is like a seafood thing, because we were right in the market, like right next to the water. Where else did I work? I did a little bit of this. It was kind of like we opened a grocery store in a apartment building called Home Remedy, and we did a lot of cooking there, which is kind of fun, which I've never done as well. So that was kind of interesting take of, like really quality, like salad bar and all these different hot snacks and like rice bowls and these little, I forget what they're called, but they were like these super simple, like flour, no yeast, it's like flour hot water dough that they do in India with like, it was like an egg breakfast, but with like curried potatoes and lentils, and it was very, very tasty. All right, so we have this diced up. We're gonna put this in a bowl and keep it cold while we work on the other stuff. Again. Because the thing about tartare is you want it cold. Another bowl. All right, next we're going to work on a little bit of, it's kind of like it's almost going to be like a tomato vinaigrette almost. Because in Louisiana, we're really getting nice tomatoes still. Oops. So we're going to quarter some of these. And then when I moved here, I started working at Coquette. I was a sous chef there. After Coquette, I moved on to Cabin, which unfortunately, rest in peace, is no longer there. But I met a lot of good people, and that's when I started working for the LeBlanc and Smith Company. And then from there, I went to Sylvain in the French Quarter. I was executive sous chef there, and I was very happy with the food that we were producing. And then I got the opportunity to open Anna's, the old Mimi's and the Marini, which was a lot of fun, a learning experience. It's funny trying to take over existing spaces, how territorial people can be. So that was a struggle. But when we opened that place, they told us that it was going to be, we were going to keep the name. So we wanted to keep the concept, which is like Spanish tapas, And as soon as we start, we're getting there, then we get sued for the name. So now it's called Anna's after the lovely owner-operator. And then from there, I went to Sylvain to be the chef. And now I'm no longer there. I'm no longer with LeBlanc and Smith. But I love that company. If I could, I would go back in a second. I mean, maybe I can. I haven't tried. But right now, I am the CDC at the steakhouse in the Harris Casino, which I'm super excited about. I've never worked at a steakhouse, but it's been a lot of fun. Right now, we're going to just microplane some ginger onto these tomatoes. I would say it's maybe barely a 1-inch knob, and we're probably not going to use it all. Yeah, we're going to set some of this aside. One pretty large garlic clove. We're just going to do half of this. All right. Scraps we can set aside for something else. These are great for stocks and stuff like that, little odds and ends. All right, now we're going to season this pretty heavily with salt. Good amount of pepper. Hit this with some rice wine vinegar. And a good finishing oil. I'm going to give that a stir. A little more salt. And that's already tasty. And like the ginger and the garlic gives a little bit of bite, a little spice, some aromatics. It's very tasty. All right, for another garnish, we're going to shave some radishes. I just love radishes and tartare. All right. I usually would use a microplane, but I forgot. So we're going to cut these in half lengthwise and just try to cut as thin as we can.
So a mandolin?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. I've been doing this a long time, so don't make it. All right, our radish garnish is ready. Oh, excuse me. We're actually going to rinse these a little bit. Try to get some of that, like, raw, like, radish flavor out. And kind of help crisp them up a little bit. All right, now, ham. All right, for the tartare, we're going to season this with a little salt, a little pepper. And I made a super simple, kind of like aioli with kewpie mayonnaise, a little bit of soy, and a little bit of black pepper. We're going to add that in here for just a little bit of fat. All right. We're going to add the vinaigrette. All right, check the seasoning. Touch more salt. Good amount of pepper. And I love tomatoes and salmon. This kind of reminds me of, in Hawaii it's called Lummi salmon. But in Hawaii they use like super salted salmon with tomatoes. And this kind of gives me, and that's kind of funny because Lummi salmon and Lummi Island is kind of meta. All right. So for this, we're gonna grab another spoon. I'm gonna try to get a quenelle out of this. Actually, no, we're not. We're gonna just kind of let it fall nice and rustic. Lots of tomatoes. Do some radish. I made a little puff rice back at the restaurant. We're going to use that just for a little bit of texture. And puff rice is just dehydrated rice, like day-old rice, that you fry in a really hot oil. All right, and the piece de resistance is this beautiful salted salmon roe, also called Ikura in Japan. All right, this stuff is beautiful. This you could literally just like eat on a bowl of rice. A lot of people like to marinate the salmon in mirin and a little bit of soy, which is very, very tasty. But we're gonna just get raw in here. I found out that maple syrup is actually really good on salmon roe.
Just like salty sweet.
Salty sweet. Actually, there's a little here. All right, and we're actually gonna take a few of these pea shoots just to garnish, give it a little bit of green. I had some nasturtiums and these beautiful purple oxalis at home, but they were not the quality that I wanted to bring here, so. All right, a little finish of this really nice oil. Wipe the plate. All right, here we go. Yeah, this would be so good with a bowl of white rice. Or like crispy salmon skin to pick it
As
up
the
would be really
vessel.
nice. Yeah. Here you go.